That's really the payoff.
Mm-hmm. So touring is not something that, I mean, you're going to the East Coast live to do that?
No, that's been picked up from some radio stations that have heard about it, and so we've been in touch and got them the music, so it's going to be playing out there starting next week.
Your family better let you on the road because you get to like it and you'll stay there.
Well, I am open to offers, Ed.
Well, I hope you come to, Kingston Blues Fest have different artists, and it's a wonder they don't, well, of course, you got to contact them if you wanted to do something on that, right?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about your future albums that might come out. Are you working on anything other than this?
Well, this one's just come out. Literally came out in June. So we recorded it starting in March, and then did overdubs throughout the spring, and then the mix down process, which was very interesting and enlightening. And I feel really fortunate to have worked with some really great musicians that I got to know in the Toronto area. So they've been awesome. This track you're going to hear coming up features some just wicked electric guitar leads by Ed Ham. You mentioned Ed, who's been, really a journeyman musician in Canada for a long time. He's toured with, on the countryside, people like Tommy Hunter, Carol Baker, still works with those folks, and he was great in terms of artistic input for the album. But when you finish one and you start to think about the next one, and I do have some ideas. For maybe, slightly more acoustic, kind of a softer feel, but more than just a single. And songwriting is a thing that just continues to happen. So I've probably, since this one's finished, written a few more songs, and there's always a few in the back pocket that I've saved, and some ideas noodling around in the workbench still. Good.
Excuse me, I met an artist, Alan Gerber from Quebec, and we were chatting, just like you and I were, not on air, and he plays a very good blues, and he's a songwriter as well. And he looked at me and says, Wayne, I'm not blues. I'm not a blues guy. I guess you'd call me folk or something different, but you called yourself alternative rock.
Yeah, alternative country rock is what I call, but, I don't consider myself a country guy either, but people that listen to it say, oh, yeah, we really love your album because we like country. And I go, oh, well, you get a little defensive there, but I guess it's what people take from it. And
exactly.
They interpret it their own ways, and that's the great thing about music.
Well, we'd like to hear a purely blues album from you in the future, but I guess it all depends on getting all the process together, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's going to be blues coming out down the line.
I like this guy, Ed Ham. He does play. I'm going to play this tune next, but he plays a wicked guitar, doesn't he?
He's very good. I, again, feel blessed to have fallen in with the guys that I did. We had... Ed, we had Leonard Fernandez on bass, Keith D'Souza was on drums for a lot of things, Adriana Lutenberg did some background vocals, Chris Mayo was involved as well. It was a great bunch of people that I had met just kind of trying to nurture a community of musicians in the Scarborough area of Toronto where I live, Port Union area, and everybody was willing to jump on board and support someone else's music, which I think was really generous of them. And the whole process was really fun as well. So to take songs that you've written in your kitchen or on your back deck acoustically, and you've got this image in your mind of how they could turn out, and well, I'd really like to have this kind of a bass line here, and to see that come to fruition and shape over a period of time as we rehearsed it was quite gratifying.
Do you expect to come back to Kingston time to time and ever pop into the Toucan and do a little gig there, or?
I would love to do that. My mom is still here, and I have family in Kingston, so we're back fairly often, and my daughter and I are going to be up for a week a little later in July, Kirsten and I, so we may do a little scouting around and see what the opportunities are, because I know so many people in Kingston still, and
sure.
It's home, and I'd love to play here.
Well, I hope we can be blessed with your appearance here, because you do a good job. I like your music, I like your songs, and as I mentioned before, I like your vocals. You've got a nice voice. It sends out goes through the soul.
Well, that's what my public school teachers used to say. It carries very loudly, but that was a different story. But thank you for those remarks, Wayne, and thanks also. You've been doing this for 30 years at CFRC, and trying to listen to the blues in the Kingston or Eastern Ontario area is tough, and all the fans really appreciate what you've done to carry that on with us. So thanks for the work that you're doing.
I appreciate the work. That's the only pay I get, you see. It's a little praise now and then. Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to bring you a tune called Handful of Sand. Anything to set that up?
Yeah, this is one, as we started to play the songs, and the band got thinking about them. They said, they called this one the funky one. Oh yeah, we're going to play the funky one now. So we had that, and I knew at the beginning, again, you talked about the vision you have in your mind. I said, I'd really like to start this one off with a bit of a funky drum beat. And the example I used is Steve Miller's Take the Money and Run, how it kind of starts like that. And I said, I think that would be a good way to intro it, because it's really heavy on the groove in this one, and Laren did an awesome job on the bass here, just sort of setting the tone. And it's one of those songs kind of expressing frustration about a relationship that maybe is hot and cold over time, and how you deal with that. And we've probably all experienced that at one point in time.
Blues, no. That's all.
But it's just a good song, and I hope you like the feel of it.
Well, I'm going to play it right now. Thanks for coming by the studio, and if you're in Kingston again and you feel like it, drop by, bring a guitar, bring your harp, bring a partner, bring Ed.
All right.
And we can get something going and continue on with this wonderful conversation. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks very much, Wayne.
You're welcome, Tyler.